Ballet costume shop.
What's going on here? And who are you?
Besides someone that's known you for 30 some years,
Yeah.
that's frightening.
Yeah, you knew me when I was wearing color.
Exactly. And we saw your eyes more.
That's true.
We were getting ready for the New York City Ballet Fall Fashion Gala, which is in about 2 weeks.
And what is that exactly?
Well, it's this brainchild of Sarah Jessica Parker, who is on our board, and she felt that because New York Fashion Week happens at about the same time, that it was kind of a clever idea to bring in New York City designers or just designers from the fashion world to design new ballets for us.
So who's doing what?
Well, this year we have Hanako Maeda, who's a Japanese designer, who does Adi. And then those two are Peter Copping, who now took over Oscar de la Renta. And then the unitard is Humberto Leone from Opening Ceremony. And then as well we have Marquesa Almeida. And then not on a form anywhere, the fifth one we have is Zuhar Murad.
Okay, the couture designer.
Right. So who's doing all this really intense lace work. But all of that's off being embroidered right now, I think. Is it right?
Well, where's everything embroidered? In New York?
Yeah. I discovered this place called New York Embroidery that does an amazing job of embroidery for cheap.
Really?
Yeah, which is great.
It was never called stitching, something stitching, or
Not that I know of.
because I used to get embroidery.
So I've discovered them, and they're great. They do all kinds of things. So, they do like laser cutting for the fish scales on Hanako's ballet. They're doing embroidery for Zuhar Murad's ballet, and then they're doing this really beautiful kind of stonework for Peter Copping.
Wow, stonework.
Beautiful cape, sewing on all these chunky stones.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good.
And the first time you did introduce designers with the New York City Ballet was Valentino?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That was amazing. He's up there. He was great. He was, really a part of the shop and really wanted to be here and really loved working here. It's over here.
Yeah. Okay, I was wondering where he was.
There.
Nice.
Um,
How sweet.
yeah.
To all the great staff in the costume shop.
Yeah, he was really great. At first he thought he was going to do the whole ballet, that they were going to build it at their atelier, and when he said that, I thought, wait a minute, that's in Italy.
Yeah.
It's never going to work. And so I said, why don't you give me a couple sketches and give me like 3 weeks and come back and have a look at what we've done. And so I took 3 weeks during the summer and had a small staff here, and we did kind of, mock-ups of the sketches. And he came back and we did kind of pseudo fittings on our dancers on the 3 dresses. And after about an hour and a half of looking at things and him looking at details and so on and so forth, suddenly he said something to Giancarlo in Italian with a smile on his face and was walking out the door, which he often did. And I turned to Giancarlo and I said, what's happening? And Giancarlo turned to me as they're walking out the door and he said, he trusts you completely, you're doing everything. So
That must have been amazing.
it was really amazing because I just thought, wait a minute, he's one of the last great couturiers, and from there on it was this incredible kind of friendship that started, and I still hear from him ever so often and see him.
Maybe one day you'll be invited to the 6-story boat.
I know. I I mean, I've seen his apartment on Fifth Avenue and 70th, which is amazing, and
Yeah.
Giancarlo's, which is in it's in a 50-some story building. They're very different from each other, but full of amazing art and amazing furniture.
Wow. How much time does he spend in New York?
He's here, a few weeks at a few different times during the season. He'll probably come to our fall gala. He often does. I mean, of course, he's not here in the winter because he's on the boat. The boat.
The boat.
Yeah.
The 6-story boat.
Yeah. But
It's Mother Goose. What are you doing with Mother Goose?
where does it say that? Oh, that's an old ballet of ours. That's an old. I think Jerome Robbins ballet.
So after Valentino, who?
Well, then we had. I mean, it's a lineup. I won't remember them all, but yeah. I mean, we had Carolina Herrera, Iris van Herpen, Joseph Altazura, Tom Brown.
I was working with Tom Brown.
That was great. He was another one that was like completely into the whole experience. He loved being here, and he loved calling me. I kind of felt like with him, he would like throw me a detail that was complicated, and we would somehow pull it off, and then he'd come in and see it, and would be like, "Oh, okay, you did that. How about this?" It was like
Challenges.
yeah, like feeding the monsters, I say.
Yeah.
And so, but he was great, and he did some great clothes for us. And then Sarah Burton, who did 2 costumes for us that were quite amazing. So
Stella
Stella
McCartney.
McCartney, right,
Marie Cotanza.
right, and
Was that before or after Black Swan?
that was after. And then this year we have, of course, that I talked about earlier. Peter Copping has been amazing because he's also been so inspired by the whole process.
So they come over and they're in the atelier a bit?
Yeah, they come for fittings. They do the usual where they come for fittings, they take photographs, and then they go away and they change everything. Because they get inspired.
Yeah.
It's like
How is that? Does it make you crazy?
it makes me a little crazy just because I'm dealing with 5 of them, and
Yeah.
and 5 ballets. I mean, it's a lot.
It's true. How many costumes per ballet? Approximately.
Like 12 to 14. So you're dealing with maybe 60 costumes that we're doing in a short amount of time, and all of them are pretty complicated. But at the same time, I get it. I get how you look at a fitting and you look at something on a body, and it's like, oh wow, that's amazing, but what if we did this? So I understand.
So what's the pressure like? I mean, how many hours a day do you have to work? Here we are on Sunday. I'm dragging you in here.
Always with you, a pleasure. It's gearing up. We're going into overtime this next week. I had a small crew here yesterday, which we don't work Saturdays. I mean, we keep it to a pretty reasonable number of hours a day, but it is starting to kind of slip over into overtime. So
what's the date exactly for completion of everything?
well, I mean, the gala is September 30th, but we have dress rehearsals a few days before, so actually it's like we need to start getting things finished on the 25th, 26th.
So you have like
We have like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and Fashion Week is over what date? Because
I think,
you're embargoed.
right, yes. I think Fashion Week is, the last one is the 17th or 18th, something like that. So they're kind of off limits to me for this next week, the
So how
designers.
much can you get accomplished by getting with the designer?
Well, fortunately, I can get I get as much out of them as possible over the last couple weeks, so that now when they're gone, And I also have to kind of, I kind of have to put the clamps on it and say, okay, this is it. That's it. You can't come back in like a week and say, okay, here's some new ideas.
And how do they respond to that?
They get it. I mean, I did have one really good one designer, Gilles Mendel, who famously said to me that he liked working with me because I actually said no to him. So,
Right.
So he understood why.
Mm.
So, every so often you just have to be that person
Sure.
who says no. I'm sorry. That's it.
Yeah.
Um,
It can be flexible up to a point.
yeah.
Because so many times people don't understand what designers certainly should understand. And in so many things, you do, people think it's going to happen like that.
Well,
It
yeah.
can't happen like that.
They always think it's going to come out of that magic closet.
Yeah, and it can't.
And it just doesn't
It's
exist.
like
Yes.
Cinderella, right?
Yes.
All of the burns and everything.
Yes.
Was
So.
it Cinderella or Snow White? Yeah. Cinderella.
Yes, Cinderella. So, yeah, so, I mean, they still try to pull it here and there. I just had Peter Copping from Oscar de la Renta's assistant say to me, oh, by the way, there's a dress for vocalists that we still haven't designed and is going to be coming your way. So it's like,
When is it coming my way?
well, where am I going to fit that in?
Yeah.
But we do, I will, I always find a way. So. And then on top of it, it's like, the pressure I have on me that the shop doesn't really feel at the moment is that a week after the gala, we have a 6th new ballet by Kim Brandstrup that I'm actually designing. So,
Fantastic. And what is the ballet? What's the theme of it?
well, it's in some ways it's easy, in some ways it's not. It's like 14 people, and he wants them to all look like they're dressed like real people.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's easy and that's not easy because, I basically pulled racks of clothes and had them come in and, just put them, had them look at everything and say, okay, what would you wear? What do you do when you get dressed up? What do you wear? Because I wanted to somehow make them comfortable, and I wanted to put them in clothes that they felt comfortable in. Like, a few of the guys came in and were like, I would never wear that. So it's good, If they're dressed like real people, I'm not going to put them in something that they would never wear.
That's good.
So, but the thing is, you can do that. I mean, we bought all this stuff, and you can do all these fittings in real close, but then we have to copy it because they can't actually dance.
That's what I was going to say. What are the criteria for moving?
Exactly.
What do you have to take into consideration?
Well, there's just, you have to, it's just all about movement. And so, pants have to be cut very high in the crotch. Jackets have to be cut high in the arm side, big gussets. Dresses that are slim cut have to be, it has to be done so that there's some kind of magic panel in the back that allows them to move. It's all that kind of stuff.
Great.
So, it's busy.
Yeah.
I try not to be stressed out about it, but.
Do you design many of the ballets?
Not a lot, but I have been lucky to design some really good ones. So,
What are some of your
I did the redesign of Symphony in C, which is like one of our iconic ballets that I did a couple years ago. And I've worked with a choreographer who I love working with. And we've done a few ballets here and one at Alvin Ailey. So, when they come along, it's great to be able to, actually be the director of costumes, but also be the designer, like wear two hats. So,
super cool?
yeah.
So you'll keep us posted. And
Yeah.
then, of course, you're going to be doing the carte blanche or asphalt 8 at some point.
Yes, which I really look forward to. And it'll be amazing now because, as you said, Iris Van Herpen will be there, which I adore her. I mean, her booth is hanging in the fitting room there, so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see it.
Yeah. It's been hanging here now for like ever. not her actively, but the kind of lineage she designed for Ballet, which was one of those times when, you know, I really felt like working with her was one of those times where I felt like costume design, which is so antiquated, really, kind of moved into the like 21st century.
It's great.
Because, you know, we had to do this on a costume covered with this as well, and it had to all be figured out mathematically, and I just figured for us to do it, it was going to take forever.
Yeah.
It would have taken weeks, because every piece had to be figured out. It had to get wider, and it had to get longer, and blah, blah, blah. And I talked to one of the people that worked here, and she said, you know, I think my husband, who works for an architectural firm, could create a computer program that we could enter the little pattern pieces in, and it would figure out, it would spit out patterns that would tell us, you know, what size they had to be, each one. It would create the pattern for us.
Super cool.
So yeah, it was great. So we would send him a thumb drive with like all these funny, weird pattern pieces that kind of worked with the musculature of a dancer, and then he would send a thumb drive back like 2 days later that we would print out on giant paper, and it had hundreds of little, you know, pieces like this, little shapes of plastic that when we cut them out and put them together would create the shape. So I was like, okay, you know, finally computers and costume are working together.
Wow.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Thank you. Who's this?
That's, no, that's Liebeslieder. It's an old ballet. This is Marquez Almeida.
Yeah.
They do that old color blocking thing with
Oh yeah, no, I remember.
denim.
Nice. It's fun. It's kind of 20s.
Yeah, kind of in a way.
And that's a bit Tom Brown.
Yeah.
Great sleeves too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Glad to have you in my world.
Glad to be in your world. Still.